YouTube. This tutorial is going to be about measuring and making patterns. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do all of your measurements when you're either ordering your own custom corset or making your own corset. So here I am without my corset, and I'm wearing a well-fitted shirt, light in color so I can see any markings that I put on it. Preferably you would want to actually be in your underwear when you do this, so that you're not going to have any of your measurements skewed by the bunching up of your clothes when you actually go to do your measurements. But first I'm going to start making a couple landmarks. First I'm going to tie this cord around my waist so that my true waist will be accurately marked. And then what I'm going to do is just twist a little bit to side like this, and wherever it sits the most comfortably after I'm doing these sorts of movements is where your true waist is said to be. So keep that there during all of your measurements. Another thing that I do is I just take this this dressmaking marker. It's just one of these evaporating markers here, so I don't have to ruin any of my clothes. But you can just use an old shirt for this, or if you're going to be marking on your skin, make sure you use something non-toxic. And I'm going to mark the sides so that I kind of divide my body into like anterior and posterior, so front and back. So we're going to start with the horizontal measurements. I'm going to teach you guys to do an underbust corset as opposed to an overbust because it's just a lot easier for beginners to start with underbust corsets. So the first measurement here is going to be right at the underbust line, right at around the bra line for a lot of you ladies. And you're just going to measure around here. If you have a friend that can help you, that'd be great, but you can do it by yourself. And just make a note of it. It's important when you're actually making this measurement to kind of breathe in so your lungs are not completely collapsed when you're taking this measurement, because you don't want this part of your corset to be too small. So I'm around 31 inches here. If you have an irregular rib cage shape, like some women are very sloped, and some men are they have like almost like a barrel shaped rib cage. They go like straight down. Then you might want to separate your measurements into upper and lower rib cage. So what you want to do is take this mark again. I had already marked where the underbust measurement was taken for me, and then I'm just going to use this marker again to mark a lower part of my rib cage. And I'm going to use that as my landmark to measure the lower rib cage like this. And then you also want to do your waist. What you can do, you can measure your natural waist and then deduct 3 to 4 inches, or you can just take your measuring tape, pull it taut to the point where it's tight but still comfortable, and then take this measurement here. So the other horizontal measurements you're going to be using is around your upper hips. So this is kind of like the hip bones, the wings of the pelvis, and you're going to measure here. Again, make a mark on your skin or your clothing where you took that measurement, and then again at the lower hip area, and you want to also make a mark here as well. Now let's do the vertical measurements. So thankfully you had just made all these marks, and so you can easily use these points to measure vertically from your upper rib cage down to your waist, your lower rib cage down to your waist, your upper hip up to your waist, and from your lower hip up to your waist. And when you're making these measurements, try to do these measurements on both sides of your body, because most bodies are actually slightly asymmetric. This is perfectly normal and it doesn't affect your health. So where you actually want your corset to end, it's completely up to you. If you like to have a point in the middle, then obviously you're going to choose to have the front height or the front distance from the top edge to the waist is going to be a little bit larger than that on the side of the body or on the back. Likewise, if you want a little point coming down in the front of the pelvis, then the front distance from the bottom of the corset edge to your waist is going to have a larger distance than on either side. If you go back to my gray corset that I made, it was a longer line corset and went straight across like this. And all I did was I used the same distance from the waist to the bottom edge all the way around for all of my panels. So the last measurement you want to do is from the waist to your lap. So what you do here is you sit on a solid surface, like a wooden chair, and you want to measure from your waist to the top of your lap here, so where your thigh actually comes to meet your torso. And this is important because if your corset is too long, you're not going to be able to sit properly. But I want to make a note that when you're doing any of your other measurements, make sure you're standing up because your torso tends to collapse when you're sitting.